Hi guys, welcome back. We are looking today at the Klawndyke 1-inch drop single module that I have made into the Magic Kingdom Main Street Station. For most of you out there, this is going to be a first time reveal. Those of you who follow my channel will know that I didn't do anything with this, and the only people that got a preview would be Sean from Klawndyke and his partner, whatever you want to call him, Andrew, out there. And I felt that it was time to reveal this one. The reason I didn't do a how I did it type of series with this one is, well, there's some personal reasons, but the majority of the reason was I wanted to do some research on the station as far as colors and how the station was laid out, things like that. So I was waiting till I got my trip out of the way, and I didn't want to do bits and pieces, and it actually took me quite a while to paint the Main Street Station. The station itself, I'm trying to remember that guy's name. It's a fellow on Etsy. It'll come to me. At any rate, what I wanted to talk about was not so much how I constructed it, but actually just going through and what all it looks like. So as you can see, the reason I picked a 1-inch drop was, if anybody's familiar, if you've been to Walt Disney World or you've seen pictures of the front of Main Street Station, you know that Main Street Station is actually higher than the entrance to go into the rest of Magic Kingdom. And I represented that. Let me see, I'm going to get you a little tight shot here. Just give me a second. Okay, so we're going to come down here and we'll look at the side here. So you can see in the front here, I replicated the very front of the Main Street Station outside the entrance, where you have that little flower bed with the Mickey Mouse ears and such. But over here on the left and also over here on the right, we have tunnel entrances. Because when you come in to Walt Disney World, you pass under the Walt Disney World Railroad. Now, the Walt Disney World Railroad, that's a tough one to say this early in the morning, excuse me, is actually a single track. Okay, so it is not double track, but for being able to take it out and use this out at train shows and whatnot, I made a double track. Okay, so it's a standard, I'll couple up with anybody type of thing out there, So let's get back to a normal shot. So just hang on a second here. Okay, so there we go. So what I did then is I went and I replicated the very front there, as you can see, and then when it came to doing the Main Street Station itself, let me just angle this up a little bit and we'll go back to that tight shot just one more time in the front here. It's a little tough to read, but I went and I made the sign. I printed it out using Adobe Photoshop, and I made the Magic Kingdom sign. The color is actually pretty close. and added the little things to it. So now you can see that is the Main Street station, and then I added a couple or 4 lights to it, and they are powered from the trak, as I usually do. I tapped into the outside line, and right now I have it powered with a DC power pack, because the excuse me, the controller that feeds those doesn't care if it's DC or DCC, but it will filter it to DC either way. And it'll only put out 3 volts to each line there. So each one of those is plugged in to an individual, outlet on the power pack. And I took a little bit of artistic license on the sides there, putting some trees and other foliage in, just to fill it. But I went and the colors, I tried to match as close as I possibly could. Let me come back here to this one. So the Main Street station itself, I tried to color match as best as I possibly could. Let me turn these off. If that'll help, if you could see it any better. See that sign any better now? No, maybe a little bit better. Okay, so that's the sign. So anyway, let's go back. So we covered that part anyway. As I said, I took my pictures and I color matched the majority of it. Okay, there is a little bit of, it might not be exact, but it's pretty close. Okay. So, and then behind the Main Street station, let me just crank this baby up so you can get a better look as we go up and up and up and up and up, and then we're just gonna tilt down a little bit. Okay, so that is a photo backdrop. Now what I did is I found a picture online, and I have no idea where this picture came from, because I just did a Google search for Main Street, and of course hundreds of them pop up when you do a search. But I saw this one, and I said, well, this is pretty much centered. It's really close to and relatively level, and looking down Main Street towards the castle, and it's nice. So I thought this would blend in perfectly, and it actually does look pretty good, I think. So what I had to do is behind the Main Street station then, excuse me, is there's like this triangular shape, if you will, with rounded off corners, that as soon as you come in on either side, you come to this, they call it the square, because the road it's weird how they have it, but it's squared on the sides, but yet in the middle it's not a square, it's a triangle. And mainly because they have a train track looking thing that a horse-drawn trolley comes down. So there are railroad tracks embedded into the macadam there, and that goes around this triangular shaped square. You want, yeah, that's kind of an oxymoron, isn't it? At any rate, that's how that is. So I replicated that to the best of my ability. So what we'll do is I'm going to give this little baby a twist, okay? And we're going to adjust the camera in just a second so that, Let's try it this way. And that way we got the light. Excuse me. Alright. So we'll get some light up here. Now I'm going to bring her down and give you guys a better look at what we got going on here. And probably come down a little bit further. Okay, so we're going to try and see how this looks. I have no idea. Okay, there we go. Actually, that's pretty good. So now you can see, obviously I didn't put any detail on the back side of the station because you never see it. Okay, but the area behind, I went and added, the trees, the brush, stuff like that, and obviously some people walking around to hopefully blend in the whole scene together, where it gives an illusion as you're walking past, oh wow, look at that. And it all, they're walking into the scene, basically. But that's it. That is the whole station in a nutshell. This took, between building the module and waiting for my road trip to Florida, doing my research, getting pictures and whatnot, and then coming back and building, excuse me, painting the station. That's from Gold Rush Bay, by the way. I just now thought of the name. Between doing all those things, it took probably the better part of 2 months to do this. Like I said, a lot of it was waiting for my road trip and then coming back and actually doing the work and things like that. So basically the station is just sitting on a piece of foam, okay, packing foam. I forget what the thing was that it came in, but it was, I measured it and it was about the right height. And I just blended it into the scenery there and wired her up, and she was ready to go. So that is it, as I said. So if you have any comments or questions or whatever about this, please feel free to message me in the comments. Let's go back to that, and we'll twist it around again for one last shot. And yeah, that's about it. So the next project currently that I'm considering is another Disney themed one. Not prepared to reveal what as of yet, but it is in the works, and I'm prepping some things right now that I'll probably try to do a series out of. It might be a couple of months, but we'll try and see if I can get together and whip one out for you guys. And that one is going to be a showstopper. The Haunted Mansion was an interesting build. I enjoyed doing that. The next one is, if I get this and I do this the way I'm thinking of, it's going to be one that's going to be animated, and you guys are really going to like it. But at any rate, that's as much of a teaser as I'm going to give on that. So with that, I'll leave you guys go. Like I said, you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.